And we are back again with a brand new episode of Another 24. I am your incredibly handsome host, Taurus Montez, and today I have a very special guest in the building. Now, this guest is number one, an empowerment coach. She is a creative expert. She is producing inspirational, uplifting, and interesting content. I have the one, the only, Nyah in the building. How you doing?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. Now, first things first. We always hear that question, how are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
But we always, we give a surface level answer. I'm okay, I'm doing good.
Mm-hmm.
But how are you really doing?
I am doing well. I am grounded. I feel really grateful in my life right now, and grateful for all of it. Not really just like grateful for the good things, but grateful for all of it. Because I think when you say like, I'm good or I'm fine or whatever, it's like we kind of discount all the other stuff that's going on like in our lives.
Right.
But it's like not only like, it's like in spite of the ups and the downs is why I am like well and grounded, Right. I don't really expect things to just always kind of be up. It's like, yeah, so I'm good. I feel good and I feel grounded and grateful.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, thanks.
Glad to hear that.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
No, really?
Not really. No, great question.
Yeah.
People don't usually ask me questions, so thank you for asking. But no, I am, just rolling with the tides right now.
Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff going on. I'm busy.
Yeah.
I am overwhelmed, slightly stressed out, but I asked for this. Entrepreneurship is one of the toughest things that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't realize how tough it is until you are in the thick of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I am right now.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm well.
Yeah.
I have my health. My fingers and toes work.
Mm-hmm.
I can breathe.
Right.
I'm here, with guests, shooting, doing my thing. So
Absolutely.
Other than that, I'm good.
Absolutely. You're living in an answered prayer.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is just a part of it.
Exactly. So before we get to what you create,
Yes.
who is Nyah away from your content creation?
I am a daughter. I am a sister and a friend and a partner. I think one of my most prized roles in life is to take care of others and to nurture and to love others and to be there for them. So honestly, that's a huge part of who I am, is a caretaker, is a lover, a nurturer, a listening ear and a safe space for the people that I love. And I'm also creative, so I'm always doing something creative. I literally always. My life is embedded in creativity, and I feel that it is a gift to be able to express myself. And so I kind of exercise a lot of modalities to do so. So whether I'm designing something, or I'm dancing, or I'm singing, or I'm journaling, or doing something, I exercise my creativity. So I would say outside of creating content.
Okay. Now, what is your favorite mode of creation? Do you like to draw? Do you like to journal? Do you like the content? What's your favorite?
I would say storytelling, and storytelling in a plethora of ways, because I love to write. I write every single day.
Okay.
And I'm writing really about my life because I'm journaling, right? So writing probably, I would say, is one of my favorite. And dancing. Dancing is healing for me. So being able to move and dance and to really be in that element is my favorite. And also designing, like from the physical to the digital. Like when I say I'm a multi-hyphenate creative, I really am. Like I exercise all of the
Right.
modalities.
Right.
Yeah, but favorite would probably be writing and dancing.
Okay. So tell me more about the dancing. How? Because when I see somebody dancing, I'm like, okay, they got some rhythm, they got some moves. More than me. I can't dance worth nothing. But yeah, tell me more about that. How do you connect dancing with storytelling?
That's a really good question. I think we're always carrying so much inside of us. We're carrying so many feelings, so many thoughts, and just energy, And when I'm dancing, I allow myself to express intuitively what it's feeling, right? So there's the part where, I'm dancing because the music is good and I'm just doing my thing, you know what I mean? Because we got that too.
Right.
But there's also just being expressive. And I would even challenge you to say, oh, you can't dance, but based on whose perception? Because everybody can move. Everybody can allow themselves to express, how they feel and express, just what's going on inside of them. And I feel like we typically don't do that because we're afraid of judgment.
Right.
So for me, dancing is telling the story of what I'm processing, how I'm feeling, and I don't judge myself. I don't even allow myself to. There's a certain space that I get into, like really just at home or in nature. I will be the fairy in the woods that you're just on a hike and you see me down by the river, just like moving and allowing myself to just get it out, because I think God has given us the gift to express ourselves, right? We have, our voice, we have dance, we can write, there's all these ways to express, and I feel like we kind of limit how we do so, which is why I think we're carrying so much inside. You know what I mean? Because we're like bottling it all up. And it's like, let it out. But sometimes maybe it's not talking it out. Maybe it's not writing it out. Maybe it's not calling a friend. Maybe it's really just dancing. Maybe it's sitting in meditation. Maybe it's just allowing yourself to kind of express yourself to yourself. So I would say dancing just allows me to express how I feel without judgment. And I think that, again, our body is carrying so much energy.
Right.
I mean, we are energy.
Yeah, we are, exactly.
We are. So allowing ourselves to kind of express that and get that out, like it's so deeply healing. And especially when you don't judge yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's my problem. I just judge myself like, I ain't Michael Jackson, so I suck, right?
And you don't have to be.
Right.
You can be exactly who you are. And I'm telling you, you should try it. I promise. Like, this is the little challenge between you and you. Today, some point, like, in your own space, like just put on some music, and not just like music to just like where you would just dance to or just like vibe to like that. It's like something ambient for real. Like even if you want to lean into like a little bit meditative vibe, meditative ambient vibe. And like almost go into a flow, like if you were stretching and just kind of start like that and just like allow your body to move and express, itself, and just see what happens.
All right, yeah, okay. Well, you might have to start a dance therapy clinic or something.
No, seriously. I've thought about that a few times. I was going to start, they call it ecstatic dancing.
Okay. All right, yeah, you might need to get on that. Now, we've been sitting down for a little over 9 minutes. And you have mentioned expressing yourself at least 4 or 5 or 6 times. Now, why is it so detrimental to not express yourself? Like, what kind of damage are we doing to ourselves by not being expressive?
That's such a good question. I think that and feel, like I shared, that we are holding so much. And it's not necessarily like negative or positive without judgment. We're holding a lot, it's like our bodies are holding a spirit, and this spirit carries a lot, energetically, spiritually, and physically. So I think that when you allow yourself to release what you hold, you allow yourself to be lighter, you allow yourself to transmute what is going on inside. It's like having a conversation with someone and where you feel like you are carrying the weight of the world, and now you're able to talk to somebody and you feel like you relieved yourself of so much just because you were able to express it. And I think that we do ourselves really like a lot of damage when we feel like, and of course I understand like it's for so many reasons why we feel like we can't, because sometimes like spaces just don't feel safe enough and relationships don't feel safe enough sometimes to do so. But that's why it's important to cultivate a relationship with yourself that is safe, where you feel comfortable sharing with yourself. Because again, like if you're holding something and at some point it will implode or explode depending on the circumstances. And I don't think that's good for anyone. And like, why even allow ourselves to get to that point? You know what I mean? So I feel like on a daily basis, we should be expressing ourselves through different modalities. And it's not necessarily, again, about expressing to others. It's really about expressing to yourself. To relieve yourself and to lighten the load, you know. And I find that there's a lot of discovery through expression. Like when I journal, for everybody it'll be different, but for me it's journaling for sure. I discover so much, like things that I didn't even know was going on inside of my mind. It's like subconsciously happening. It's subconsciously at play. So it's like, okay, like, whoa, I didn't recognize. And you keep unpacking stuff and then you recognize the root of things. And when you start to recognize the root of things, then the fruits start to make sense.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh, that's where that's coming from. Oh, that's what's happening here. And it doesn't always have to be so deep or so serious, but it helps to grow more awareness about who you are and who you are and what's at play within yourself.
Got it. Yeah, I think you're so right about that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, you know, a lot of thinking and a lot of moves that we make throughout the day is just surface level.
Yeah.
Because life is moving so fast, you don't really have time to sit there and go
Process.
2-3 layers deep. Right, exactly. So taking that time to, like you said, journal, think about what you're actually you're feeling and going through, and uncovering, you know, like you said, the root of it. I think that would help a lot of people.
And meditation too.
Meditation, right?
I feel like, you know, the journaling and all the other things, they could be active, but there's also meditation that allows you to not do anything, but you can it still is a way for you to process what's happening. You know what I mean? Because like you said, like on a daily basis, we're moving, we're going, we're handling all the responsibilities of our lives, and we don't slow down to really process what is actually happening. And there's a time and a place, but I think that I'm not saying like you have to sit for like an hour in meditation, but really taking a moment to just collect your thoughts and process like where you are, what you're feeling, like starting your day on the premise of awareness versus just going, you know? So I feel like we should exercise that as much as possible just to start on a strong note.
Yeah, and I like what you said about starting your day, because how you start your day sets the tone for the rest of the day. So you gotta wake up on the right side of the bed.
Yes, and sometimes you don't.
Right, sometimes
and then you have to figure out.
You gotta lay back down, wake back up again.
Exactly.
So you obviously have been doing some deep work, sounds like, you know, on yourself.
Yeah.
Where did you learn these tools?
From so many places. I have always been really interested in the work of kind of like unpacking who I am and what makes me the way I am. And I know my heart, like I know what's innately like like what's just natural to me, right? And then there are things where I feel like, I don't like that too much. I don't like how that's being expressed. I don't like how that's translating in my relationships, which I think are our greatest mirrors. I'm like, I just started to pay attention to how I operated. And then I also was paying attention to what I was hearing people say about me, whether it was my emotions or maybe how I was thinking about certain things. And when you start to see a consistency, there's like a pattern, you're like, it's in your best interest to pay attention to what is happening here. So I just started to pay attention, and then I got curious, and then I started to dive into books, like just self-awareness books, and always kept a journal since I was like 8 years old. So I have journals from childhood to my big 30s. So I feel that there's been just so many different avenues that I've walked down to gain awareness and to understand, you know, my mind, my body, and my spirit better and more holistically instead of just like these separate entities, right? I've done my own work, in reading books and, journaling and listening to the podcasts and all the things. But I've also sat with leaders and spiritual leaders and indigenous people who really dive into spirit and the spiritual realm, not just this physical reality. Because from where we came, we're going to return, so it's probably in our best interest to learn about and to really nurture the relationship with God and with spirit, right? So my curiosity has led me to sit with indigenous people from the Amazon, indigenous people from Merita, from Africa, the Dogon people who are so insightful and have been preserving knowledge from the age, like from ancient Egypt, like the cornerstone of humanity. So there's a lot of roads that I've trekked to just gain understanding about this work and why it's so important. But also, I've been so curious and I've delved into so much where I also understand that it's also so simple.
Tell me more about that.
It's so simple because honesty is the greatest tool. Self-honesty. Okay. Being honest with yourself. And can be hard, but it can also be so simple. And I recognize through all of these journeys that I've taken that it always comes back to you and you, right? And this conversation that you are hosting with yourself and the delusion or the reality that you choose to live in. And if you can be as audacious as possible, to be as honest as possible with yourself, then I think that life can be quite simple. And I think a lot of the times we're living in delusion, me for sure, one of them, I can delude myself into many different things because my mind might be on go and I may be overthinking this or overthinking that, but it's quite simple. And I think that that's why those moments when you just sit and you can like collect your thoughts and really collect your thoughts, really hone in on how you're feeling about something, it just allows you to see the full picture and not so much like all these fragments, right? And then that makes it simple, more simple, right? But it's amazing to learn about spirituality and God and seeing how God expresses himself in everyone and in all of the life that's around us, in nature, in people, in animals, like in all living things. It's truly magnificent. So I think that if we allow ourselves to open our eyes and to really see what's in front of us all the time, we'll realize, oh, this is simple, and I really just have to be good, do good, and be truthful and live in my integrity, and be kind and to live in purpose. So I know all that is like, it sounds complicated, but it really is simple, right? And that doesn't discount all the other things. Like, I don't want to say, oh, it's simple to discount the complexities of life, because I feel like I've existed in a lot of the complexities of life. But So I think that's what kind of sent me down these different paths because of my curiosity. But
gotcha. I'm interested to hear what you learned about spirituality in Africa, because we hear, us being in the South, we're in the Bible Belt, we're in Georgia. A lot of times we grew up being taught that if it ain't Jesus, it's evil, right? We hear about things that our ancestors might have practiced. Voodoo, hoodoo, these type of things. So I'm interested in hearing the comparisons and contrast of, traditional Christianity versus African spirituality.
That's a really great question. It's vastly different because there are so many different origins of like spiritual practices in the nation as a whole, and so many different tribes are practicing so many different things. whom I was studying with, because I was really studying to understand, like, well, what do they know? And it was tracing back to the origins of humanity as we know it, which traces back to Egypt, right? Africa. And there's been a lot of studies, right, that our ancestors used to study the stars, astronomy. They were studying the earth and how this relationship between the earth and the heavens related, and how one impacted the other. So as an example, our ancestors used to really pay attention to this one specific star, which is the Sirius star. It impacts the earth the most. But nobody talks about it, right? And our relationship to the Sirius star dictates so much of how the earth responds, and like its natural cycles and all the things that we're going through. So even now we're going through these things on the earth where we're like, what's going on? What's happening? But it's because of something, right? So the study of spirituality is really the study of nature, is what I learned. It's understanding nature, understanding the elements, and understanding what animates it. Right, which is God. It's a force. It's in this universe. But there were also, and I'm not going to speak too much because I don't want to be disrespectful to anything or anyone or anything like that. But there are just different practices that honor our ancestors, for sure, which I also agree with. I do believe that we should honor our ancestors and our lineage, because we are a manifestation of all of our ancestors. I am flesh, bones, and blood of my ancestors who have come before me. You know what I mean? Like, you can't separate yourself from your DNA, you know? So I believe that we should honor our ancestors. We should give thanks and reverence for all of their sacrifices and all of the things that they've done. And in addition to that, all the gifts that we possess, it's coming from somewhere. Like, God has gifted us, but our different lineages have different strengths and weaknesses. And it's in our, I think it's in our benefit to understand, well, what is that? What are our strengths? Like, why am I here? Like, what has my lineage carried that I could probably activate within myself? You know what I mean? I used this example the other day, but I was speaking to, when you, like, there are some lineages that, for instance, like, they sew and they weave things, and your ancestry might not have done that. Like, your lineage might not have. They might not have. But I have a history of seeing women in my family crafting and weaving and doing things with their hands, including my mom. Like, she was sewing her whole life. So it's like, I just think about these things where I think it's in our best interest to pay attention, and to honor our ancestry. I've seen things activate within me just because I'm revering, where I'm coming from. And then there's deeper practices that I won't speak to, but I feel that it's up to everyone's discretion to, pay attention to what you pray to and what you're saying and speaking and how you use your words, because words are truly spells. Like, you should be super intentional with what you say, and you can cast spells or you can cast blessings. You can wrap someone with love or you can curse them with something, you know what I mean? So I just learned about how incredibly important it is to pay attention to how things express themselves around you and how you're moving, but also that there's so much at play that we don't know. Right. We see what we see. I see you in front of me. I see this table. I see what is matter in this room. But there's so much that's unseen that is around us. We speak to God, but we don't see God in this form that we expect to see God. God is in everything that is around us. So the fact that I'm breathing, I can't see this air that I'm breathing, but it's giving me life, right? So there's so much that is unseen that is around us that we are not aware of. And that's why I'm saying it's super important. And I've learned through all of my studies and my journeys that it's just important to be careful what you say, what you engage in and what you engage with, and to just, again, be honest and just pay attention.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's, it's so ironic that the the most important thing in this room is probably the air, but you can't see it.
Can't see it.
And it's the most important thing.
It's the most important. Yeah.
So switching gears a little bit, I want to talk about two things that look very, very similar, but have vastly different effects on us. And those two things are coping and healing. What is the easiest way to distinguish between what behaviors are cope and what behaviors are healing?
Definitely a distinction.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, because, some people exercise. Exercise can be a form of cope, and it can be a form of healing.
Yeah.
They look similar,
right,
but they're having two vastly different effects on you as
right,
a person.
Right. And I think it's the intentionality behind it that makes the difference for real. I think coping, like you're saying, is like you can do something just to deal with like all the things that is happening inside of you, right? But not really dealing with it, right? So masking it, right? So to your point earlier, when you said like we're not going 2, 3, 4 like levels deep, we're just kind of like staying up here. And I think when we're coping, it's like we know it's there, we know it's back there, we know the thing that we're struggling with is in the back of our minds, or it's sitting in our hearts or something, or we're feeling the pain in our body or whatever, but we're not really addressing it. We're just keeping it back there and then doing things that almost distract us from it. So I think the coping is almost a distracting from what you need to really be paying attention to.
Gotcha.
I think the healing is facing it head on. Like if there's this part of you that you may judge, not like, hate that it's even there, hate that you're even dealing with it. You have a wound that you don't want to look at because it's ugly. It may make you feel shameful. Like, why wouldn't you judge this? People have judged it, and now you just pushed it down and all the things. And so there could be like these really ugly parts that we don't want to face. And I think healing is just turning around, facing it, and saying, I see you. I know that you're here, and I'm going to hold space for you to move through me.
Okay.
And how do we move through it? Expression. Right?
Right.
That's why music is so healing for people.
Yeah.
Because you get to carry the pain out. You get to transmute it. The same thing with dancing, the same thing with writing. I have moved through so much pain through these modalities, but I couldn't say I healed them if I didn't face them, right? Because I could write about the symptoms of the wound, but not talk about the wound, right? And I feel like coping is focusing on the symptoms and healing is focusing on the wound. So when you, again, go to the root of things and you become curious enough to go to the root of it and face like the thing that you really just don't want to face, because who's got time for that?
Right.
I got this to do, this to do, this to do, this to do. Like, I don't have time for this. But really choosing intentionally to see it and to hold your hand in that process and to allow yourself to forgive the parts of yourself and others that need to be forgiven, to allow yourself to, see it and to let it go without judging it. Because I think a lot of the times we don't want to look at the wound because we're judging it. Yeah. And then we're judging it and then kind of creating these stories about what it means about us. You know what I mean? And more times than not in a positive way either. Like, we cast these judgments on ourselves, and now we're judging ourselves and thinking other people are judging us too, and it's like this whole thing. Right. But yeah, I think that's the difference. And I think, again, being curious enough to really go to the root of something and holding space, like true loving space, like as if you would a kid you loved. They come to you and they're like, hey, like, I'm going through this, or I'm feeling this, or I don't know what to do about this, and really holding loving space for yourself and your inner child as you would someone you truly, truly love. We grow up and we think that these parts of us don't exist anymore, but they're here, they're inside of us, and they're very much alive. And more times than not, the adult version of ourselves is just reenacting childhood wounds, things we experienced as children that we don't know what to do with, and all of this. And it's just like, well, if you decide to heal, then you'll go back to the root of things and almost like what's the word, recover yourself,
Right.
reclaim yourself.
Okay.
Like, oh, I see that you're stuck here. Come here. I got you.
Right.
You know, I got you. This is what you got going on down here. Literally, I have experienced like 8-year-old things that has gone inside of me. And truly sitting in meditation, I recognize where parts of me are stuck in my consciousness, like in my energy. It's like, why can't I move past this stage in my life?
Right,
Why do I keep revisiting the same issues, like the same thing that keeps happening? And then I'm like, oh, the lesson here is to self-soothe, to be able to nurture myself. Oh, you want to nurture everybody else? Nurture yourself.
Right.
How about that? Right. And so that's again the importance of just being curious about yourself and following things to the root, and then like again holding loving space and reclaiming these parts of ourselves.
Yeah, it seems like God, there's a quote that says God gives us the same lesson until we pass the test.
Oh, yes.
So I've definitely experienced that.
Me too.
And it's like, you know what? I don't want to pass the test yet. I just want to keep doing it the way I'm doing it. But that's why it keeps popping up.
And that's why it keeps popping up. And you will never graduate until you pass
the test. Can't fight it. You can't fight it. Just go with it. Just do it.
But that's why it's important to like pay attention.
Yeah.
Going back to paying attention. What's constantly showing itself to me?
Right.
You know?
But yeah, taking that time to, be, extremely cognizant and super self-aware of the things that you're experiencing. That is just so hard for a lot of people because capitalism, I'm blaming capitalism. We don't have time, we got to work. But we do need to take that time and be intentional about that because
absolutely,
that would change just so much.
It would change so much. And then even, we make time, I make time to pray.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, they'll make time to pray. And so you make time for what's important to you, right?
So what does that say about not having time for ourselves?
For ourselves. Like you're pretty much saying you're not important to me enough to make this time for, because I kid you not, each one of us have woken up early for someone we loved. We have sacrificed a meal or two. We've decided to, override how we felt for others. We've made time when we didn't have the time, like, because we want to show other people, we love you, I care about you, all the things. But then in the background, neglecting the same voice inside of us that's asking for the same thing. Right?
Exactly.
So that's why I think we end up with really complicated relationships with ourselves. Because it's like, how can I trust you? I can't trust you. You don't even make time to talk to me.
Right.
You don't even make time you don't even keep your promises.
Right.
You say you're going to do one thing, you do something else. Like, you know what I mean? So we have to start recognizing this is a relationship. You and you, it's a relationship. So it's like you have to foster a relationship with self in the same way you're trying to foster relationships with everybody else. You got to know you got to understand what makes you tick. You got to understand what you love. You got to understand what makes you feel loved, what makes you feel cared for, like the same exact ways in which you would foster a relationship with another. And what helps me to do that even more so is just thinking about the inner child inside of me.
Right.
Because I'm like, you deserve all the love, and I think that's made a huge difference in how I approach myself and the relationship with myself. And just another tidbit on that too, like there is trust. That trust factor is so important. Like trusting yourself, right? And at one point, like a few years ago, I was like recognizing that I was really indecisive. I'm like, why can't I just make a decision? I'm always like tossing all. I'm like, I don't know. But why? right? And again, these are the things I pay attention to. Why am I indecisive? I don't want to just chalk it up as, oh, I'm just an indecisive person.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Why am I indecisive? And then I, did my inner work. I wrote about it. I reflected on it. I meditated on it. I'm like, and then I just paid attention to my experiences, like in my life. And I'm like, oh, you're not decisive because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust your decisions. You can't trust yourself to show up when you said you would. You're not trusting yourself to keep your word to yourself, and I would see myself like neglecting me, but showing up for everybody else, right? And what does that reinforce within myself? Again, you are not important enough to show up for. Wow. Everybody else is more important than you. What that does to your psyche, you know what I mean?
That's deep.
It's deep.
Yeah.
So I started to recognize, okay, so I need to cultivate a relationship with myself that where I can really grow to trust myself. So I started to approach myself in a way where it's like, okay, what would make you trust me more? Like really having these conversations with myself. And so there was this one pocket of my life, which is my fitness journey. I was super in my head about my body and all the things. And I was like, okay, well, we've been thinking about being really committed to our fitness journey for a while. And we start. And 3 years ago, I was like, you know what? Because this is when this conversation was really coming to the forefront for me, because I really wanted to become a more decisive person. I was like, okay. I was like, we're going to start working out at least 4 times a week, right? Like we're going to do it. And there's no excuses. Absolutely none. So, 1 week turned into a month turns into 3 months, 3 months turns into now 3 years. But that's the point. And now it's like just that small pocket of reinforcing, oh, I can trust you to show up and do what you said you're going to do. Oh, you're keeping your promises? Oh, I can trust you.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Cool. You know what I mean? Just the same way we would with somebody else. Because if someone external of us say they're going to do something and show up and then they never do, are you going to trust that person?
No, of course not.
Absolutely not.
Right.
So it's the same thing here. So that is such like a key. A key is exercising trust with yourself so that you become a more grounded and like holistic person, human.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because, Jordan Peterson, who you familiar with him?
A little bit.
Yeah, he's psychology, psychotherapist guy. He's kind of problematic these days. But anyway, he has a book called 12 Rules for Life. Great book. I would recommend it for anybody.
Okay.
And one of the rules is treat yourself like you are somebody you're responsible for helping. And
Yes.
that's speaking to exactly what you're talking about right now. It's like, you have to pretend that you are your best friend.
Absolutely.
And whatever you would tell your best friend to do, you just do that.
1,000%.
So,
100%.
Y'all are in alignment on that.
Yeah, because we are our greatest responsibilities. We have all of these responsibilities, but we are our greatest responsibilities. God placed this really precious life in our hands, this precious body, this mind, our hearts. Like, this is invaluable. You can't even place anything on it. You know what I mean? So if this is such a great gift, why do we treat it as if it's just disposable? We treat it, we put whatever we want in it. We consume all the things that mess up our minds.
Tell me about it.
We consume things that make us feel crazy. You know what I mean? We poison ourselves. And it's not to point to perfectionism, because it's not that, because I am a human.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect.
Nobody is perfect. But I'm just saying, speaking to the responsibility piece, is that if we did treat ourselves like someone we truly loved and someone we truly cared for, what would that look like?
Yeah.
And if every single day we asked ourselves that, like, what would our days look like? You know what I mean? Like, what would it look like? I think it would look vastly different if we prioritized, and not in a selfish way, but in a way that we're self-aware and we get to pour from a cup that is full versus trying to give a drop from a cup that is empty.
Exactly. I think that, the important thing is, optimization. We want everything to run at supreme efficiency.
Yep.
And the way to do that is to take care of yourself mentally, phically, all the ways, emotionally, all the ways.
Don't leave that one out.
Right.
That was the most, because
emotions
is energy in motion.
Right.
And if you choose not to pay attention to the energy that's supposed to be in motion, it becomes stagnant, and now it's building up inside of you. So it needs to continue to flow and be transmuted.
Right. So I was able to live with your content for some time.
Oh, nice.
And, you put out some very valuable insights.
Thank you.
And I think that, what you're doing is, of course, it's a good thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
But I believe that you're helping people.
Thank
and
you.
people who may be in, specific situations. So was there ever a time, well, I'm sure there was, but when was the time that you could have benefited from your content?
I think half the time I'm making content, I am talking to myself.
Right.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl,
Right.
this is what you... But, yes, I think that I've housed a lot of things inside, right? Due to just, like, the journeys I've taken and the information I've consumed. And so I've been reasoning with myself for many years at this point. Just haven't, like, really been putting anything out because of my own hang-ups about things.
It's hard to do.
It's so hard to do. And then you put yourself out on Front Street, which is just, like, such a vulnerable place. It's like, wait, see me, don't see me.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to just put this out there and don't look back at it. But I absolutely do think that I need the content that I put out because I think I have a unique set of things that I have gone through and a place that I speak from. And I know that not everybody will be able to relate, but I think that we're so alike more than we are different. I think humans are more alike than we are different. And we all go through our ups and our downs and our experiences that shape us in all different types of ways. And the motivation behind the content that I put out and what I speak about is really allowing those circumstances and the things that we experience to become tools to help us evolve and to really catapult us, because now we're utilizing everything that's handed to us in a way that's like, what is this teaching me, instead of it just being in vain. I think a lot of the times we go through stuff and we're not allowing ourselves to really juice all of the goodness from it, because we want to probably cope and get away from it as fast as possible instead of just looking at it and paying attention to it. So I definitely feel like I need the content that I put out, and I feel like there's a lot of people who need to hear something super specific to the hearts that they have and like the things that they go through. I'm a very sensitive woman. I've been a sensitive person my whole life, and things have translated in my life a very specific way, right? And it's affected me a certain kind of way, and maybe not everybody understands that, but that's why I make the content I make for the person who may not have someone who understands, right? Or who gets it, just to be that person. Maybe it's the one person who needed to hear it, they did, right? Because it's such a unique little pocket that you're speaking to.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that we need to hear more voices of reason, but I also think that it's so noisy in the world right now, and it makes me a little resistant sometimes to being another voice in the world, but it's beyond me at this point. It's literally not even about me at this point. God will not let up off of my heart, and every single year I kind of put it in the background. It continues to pervade and becomes more prominent. And it wasn't honestly till earlier this year when my partner challenged me to post 30 days consistently, where I was like, okay, I guess I'll do this. I really don't want to, but I guess I will. And then it became a more consistent thing. And like we were speaking to earlier, you don't know what is gonna do what at what time.
Exactly.
But one of them made it to be viral. I was like, okay, cool. Okay, maybe all y'all relate to this, or whatever it is. I was just grateful. So that kind of gave me a little bit more confidence in just sharing. But it was good to know that people do need to hear some of these things that I'm sharing, and I definitely need to too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk briefly about something that we all have
Yes.
and something that we are all aware of,
Yeah.
but sometimes we don't know where it's coming from or if it's there for our greater good or if it's there to harm us or what.
Yeah.
And that is our inner voice. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say my inner voice has guided my decisions
Yeah.
for, a supreme amount of my life.
Yeah.
But sometimes it turns out good.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it doesn't. I guess that's life.
Yeah.
But for those who have an inner voice that we need to either tame or learn to trust more, what are your thoughts about that? What are your thoughts about the inner voice? Is it there for our good, or is it something that we need to think through first, our decisions?
Definitely think through, for sure.
Okay.
Earlier I was speaking to how there's so much that we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
There's spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
Okay? There is so much attacking our minds every single day. Like, we have thoughts that we don't even sometimes know where it comes from. It's like, what the, who the, what? For real. Like, what is that? Where did that come from? So definitely audit your thoughts. Audit like what is making its way like into your mind and what you're giving attention to, because we, like you said, we all have inner voices. We have all types of personalities up in there. We have a version of ourselves that may be more confident, another version may be more secure, one speaking from a more wounded place, one speaking from an egotistical place. It's complex, in the mental landscape. So I think it's in our best interest to audit what we allow to seed themselves in our minds, right? So it's like, okay, like if you had a thought presented to you, that doesn't mean you have to pay attention to it. But if this thought is consistently presenting itself to you, then it probably like serves to pay attention. Like, where is this springing up from? Because, we have passing thoughts all the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Thoughts that come and they go and then you don't ever think of them again. But if there's a pattern, again, and there's this kind of repetition in what's presenting itself in your mind, pay attention to that. Maybe explore it. Maybe it's something that wants to come out, wants to go, right? And then, which you then have to pay attention to. Maybe you need to write it out. Maybe you need to write a letter, burn it, do something, right? Pray about it. Okay. You need to get it out. And then there's the guidance part of it, where this voice is guiding you to do X, Y, Z, and it's important that you pay attention to what you're being guided to do, and to really ask the questions, like, if follow it through, right? If I did this, then what, right? Like, how does this impact me? How does this impact the people around me? Like, where's this coming from? Like, if I were to do this thing, where is it coming from? And like, how does it affect my life, right? I don't think we should be as impulsive as we can be from like the thoughts that we have, because they're really driven by emotion sometimes, right? Like, our emotions are driving these impulsive thoughts we might have, and then we're doing things that we have no business doing, Right. So
shame on y'all.
No shame on us. Just pay attention. It comes back to that every time, like just paying attention. So our minds are precious, and we're manifesting from this place. The thoughts that we're hosting in our minds, we're manifesting our realities from it. You know what I mean? It's almost like projecting our thoughts on the screen of our lives, and you should be really careful about what you keep projecting on the screen of your life, because what you visualize, it will likely come to pass. That's why vision boards are so big, right? Because you're consistently feeding your mind these like very specific images and emotions that are linked to those images, and now your mind is seeing it, your body is feeling it, and now you're manifesting it. So it's like, pay attention to what's coming up, but also know what to give your energy to and what not to give your energy to. And just because a thought is presenting itself to you does not mean you have to give it energy. And I think a lot of times people fall into depression and have extreme anxiety because these thoughts might come, or they might rise up, and now we feel like we absolutely are we're being attacked by them, or instead of just kind of really in that moment breathing and recognizing like, oh, this has no power if I don't give it energy.
Right.
So it's like really recognizing your place in in your whole, your mind, body, and your spirit, this body that you have, and recognizing you have the power and control over what you allow to like pervade your mind and your emotions and all of it. So definitely don't just be impulsive and go with whatever is presenting itself. Audit your thoughts and decide what should make its way through the gate and what should stay out the gate. You know, and if it's not helpful in helping you to really, you know, get to where you are trying to get to, whether that's within your confidence, whether that's in your life, whether that's whatever pocket you're trying to get to, it's like, if it's not supporting that, it can't come in here. You know, so if I'm working on my confidence and I have thoughts coming in from, you know, childhood talking about, oh, I don't like this about you, I don't like this about you, look at that, you can't come in here.
Right.
You got to stay out there and do whatever, but you're not coming in here, right? Because now you're going to plant seeds now that I have to now uproot again because, you know, when I'm doing the work. So, yeah. It's
working against yourself at that point.
At that point, exactly.
All right. So this has been a very deep conversation. It's been very, you know, I'm doing some healing over here. So I kind of want to lighten it up a little bit,
perfect.
all right? You know, ask you some this or that questions.
Okay.
And you just give me your thoughts, all right?
Okay.
All right. Therapy or journaling?
Both.
Both? Okay. All right.
But I'm going to be an advocate for journaling through and through.
Okay.
I'm going to die on that hill.
All right. So,
but I think therapy is important too.
But you can graduate from therapy and then keep journaling afterwards.
Right. Great point. Yes.
All right. Boundaries or explanations?
Boundaries.
Boundaries. Without, you don't got to explain nothing. It's just about.
I think explanations come from a certain place within you. Like you feel like you have to explain yourself. I feel like that's pointing to something else. Like you're overcompensating for a reason. But boundaries should come with understanding. Like you shouldn't be like harsh or just like mean. Boundaries are put in place for you and you. Like it's not to harm anybody else. But I don't think that you should be unkind or mean when you're putting boundaries in place or anything. But I think over-explaining is overcompensating. It's one of the things I'm absolutely working on.
All right, great point, great point. All right, processing emotions alone or talking it through?
Both. Depending on the circumstance. Absolutely, because sometimes you just need to talk it out with somebody.
Okay.
And just need a soundboard. But I think, again, going back to cultivating that relationship with yourself, you should be a safe place to be able to talk to yourself about all the things too.
Okay.
Primarily.
All right. Forgiveness or accountability?
That's tricky.
Are you forgiving somebody?
These are hard. I'm like both.
If you had to pick.
Forgiveness, because in forgiveness you have to kind of take accountability. If you forgive yourself or if you forgive another, you have to kind of take accountability. So I would say forgiveness.
Okay, so if you're forgiving somebody else though, is that holding them accountable for their transgression?
That's relieving yourself of the impact, because if you don't forgive, you're holding that in your heart. So you're relieving yourself, right, of that heaviness that you're carrying because you're choosing not to forgive someone. It's like drinking poison and expecting somebody else to die.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can hold somebody accountable and still not forgive them.
Exactly. Right.
Okay. All right, grace or structure? Both.
I would say structure.
Structure. Okay. All right, emotional safety or emotional honesty?
Oh, emotional safety or emotional honesty?
Now you're gonna be honest with somebody, even though they might feel like this is not a safe space because you're being way too honest right now.
I think you could be honest and still be an emotionally safe place.
But it's either or if you had to pick one.
So are you saying emotional honesty is in like you just lay it on thick and don't care like about how it makes a person feel?
You just be honest. You say what you got to say.
I'm going to say emotional honesty because if you just being nice, like I don't translate emotional safety as you just being like saying what I want you to say. Right. I want you to tell me the truth, but in a way that is like not harmful. Sometimes people say things and they're being honest, but it's like, I can't even receive what you're saying because it's just all the way messed up. You know what I mean?
You gotta be tactful.
Yeah, but I do believe if this or that, I'll say emotional honesty because you can go farther with that. Even if someone doesn't deliver it in a way that makes you feel okay, you can still leave that situation and move forward with that awareness.
Right.
If there's some truth to it. And now you could do something with that.
Okay. All right. Creating from pain or creating from peace?
I would say creating. For what reason? I'm so sorry. All these stipulations.
You're thinking deep about these. Let's say your content. Are you creating from pain or are you creating from a source of peace?
Both. I have to say.
Cheating.
No, I'm sorry. I have to say both though, because the areas in which I've come to peace with, now I have the awareness that I have. Now I'm sharing it. There are things that have led me, like from pain. Pain has led me to learn some of the things that I've learned. So now that, and I share from that. So it's just like music. People create music from pain, and it's probably the ones that people relate to the most.
That's true.
People create music from peace, and it's like no one,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But I would say, I would have to say both. But the hope is to create from a place of peace, because now you've arrived at peace after going through the pain.
It's like they say, war creates peace. So it's like they're not mutually exclusive.
Right, right.
All right, sharing your journey or protecting it?
Protecting it.
Really?
I'm just
Okay.
kidding. I'm just kidding. It's going back to what we were saying earlier when I was like, you just kind of want to, it's a vulnerable thing to like share, you know, but I would say that's the whole point. So definitely share.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because if you feel like you have to protect it, it's almost like something is coming for you. Like you feel like you'll be attacked. So it's like,
Yeah. All right, letting go slowly or cutting it off clean?
oh, I'm a letting it go slowly person. But I'm aiming to be the cut it off clean type of person.
Why though?
Because I think that I think it just depends on the circumstance. Right? I think different circumstances call for different approaches. Yeah. Some may require you to cut it off immediately, right? And some situations call for, you know, time, grace, and more understanding, right? So maybe if you approach something a little bit more slowly, you may have grounds for more understanding that changes the outcome, right? But so if something is abusive, for instance, like cut that ish off immediately,
Facts.
right?
Facts.
Versus something where it's like, oh, if I just maybe lean into more understanding here or try to understand somebody else's point of view or like whatever, like maybe I don't have to be so, you know, abrupt or cut it off. Maybe I could just lean into more, having more grace for the situation. So.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, two more. Self-love or self-respect?
Self-respect.
Really?
Because I feel like in self-respect, you're loving yourself.
Okay.
I don't think you can respect yourself. You can really respect yourself without loving yourself. I feel like when you do things that makes you respect yourself, it's from a space of love. Yeah.
Okay. All right, acceptance or resistance?
Acceptance.
Okay.
Acceptance.
Okay, that was an easy one.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be a hard one, but
No, that was easy.
All right, so the name of this show is Another 24, and it's called that because that is the biggest blessing that we can get, which is another day to, you know, right your wrongs, another day to heal, another day to continue down a path to start a new path, right? Yep. It's the one thing that everybody on the face of the earth can agree on.
Yep.
You know, we can't agree on much, but we all agree that we want another day at least of life.
Yes, for sure.
So if there is a young woman who is watching everything that you're doing, she's following you closely, she's appreciative of the content that you are putting out, but she may be having her struggles right now. She may be on a path that's causing her some pain. If you could take 30 seconds to talk to that young woman, if you could just look at that camera right there and give her some words of encouragement.
Okay. Now? Yeah. Okay.
Now take your time whenever you're ready.
I'd say be patient with yourself. Offer yourself grace through all of the seasons because they don't always have to look wonderful for them to be valuable. Some of your greatest insights are going to come from some of your most painful seasons. And if you're navigating that season right now where it feels complex and it feels hard and it feels challenging, the best thing you could possibly do is juice this time, really gain all of the wisdom you can from it, and use all those tools and build yourself into the version of yourself that you're looking to become. Let it make you wiser, stronger, more knowledgeable, more confident, more beautiful.
All right, there it is. There it is. Well, tell people how they can find you.
I am on Instagram and TikTok, my full name, so Nyah K. Abdallah, so that's NYAHK period ABDALA.
Well, listen, this has been an amazing conversation. I feel like, man, I need to spend some more time with myself. So thank you so much for this conversation. Anytime you want to pull up and you got something going on, you got something you want to share with the people, you have a place to do it.
Okay, thank you.
So, this was a great, great conversation. I think I'm going to watch this one back.
Yes.
All right.
That's what's up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a wrap. That's good. Yeah, that was really, really good.
Thank you. That was easy.
It was easy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.